So picture this. It's like 3:15 a.m. in a hospital ward, right?
Okay.
The alarms are just blaring. And there's this nurse who's mentally carrying the weight of 10 different patients.
Oh, man, yeah. That is heavy.
Right. And the shift finally ends. Her body physically leaves the building, but her mind is still just sprinting down that corridor. Those alarms are still ringing in her head all the way home.
I mean, that is the absolute definition of a mental traffic jam, because your physiological stress response, it doesn't just clock out when you do, you know?
It really doesn't. And welcome to today's deep dive, everyone. Our mission today is extracting the antidote to that exact feeling from Dr. Feng Cheng Carr's book, Jom Mindful Gym Now.
Which is such a great resource. And the best part for you listening is that clearing this mental traffic jam, it doesn't require booking some expensive silent meditation retreat.
No, definitely not.
It's really just about building your own MP3.
And wait, just to clarify, we are not talking about the early 2000s music player here.
No.
We're talking about a mindful personal practice package. Because so much of wellness culture today, it feels like this massive, rigid textbook of rules you have to follow perfectly.
Exactly. It's overwhelming.
Yeah, but looking at this source, the MP3 approach is just incredibly liberating. It strips all that survival stuff down to just 3 highly curated, personalized tools.
Because a sustainable practice isn't about volume, you know? It's about targeted intervention. So the first component you need is your daily tool.
Okay, so that's like the preventative measure.
Right. It's preventative, like just taking one mindful breath before you open your inbox. It subtly lowers your baseline cortisol levels. But, you know, when that baseline gets completely blown apart by a crisis,
Which happens to all of us.
right, that's when you need the second component, which is a rescue tool. The source highlights the mindful Satta Api technique for these really intense red zone moments.
Ooh, let's break that acronym down so it's actually usable for people. So STAT-API stands for stop, take a breath, observe, and proceed.
Which sounds deceptively simple.
It really does. But I imagine it physically forces this wedge between a trigger like, say, a super hostile email and your automatic reaction to it.
Yeah, it literally intercepts an amygdala hijack. By forcing that pause, you know, to just observe your physical sensations, you're redirecting blood flow back to your prefrontal cortex.
So you actually regain executive control.
Exactly. And then to balance out all that daily stress, you have the third component, which is the joy tool. The book suggests this Google www Yahoo search.
Which is such a fun framing. Basically, you're running a mental search for www, which is what went well today.
Yeah.
It's just this active practice of noticing the good stuff.
Which is actually crucial for neuroplasticity, because the human brain has this built-in negativity bias, right? We hold on to threats and we just deflect the positive data.
So the www exercise forces your brain to consciously log what went right.
Yeah, it's physically rewiring those neural pathways over time.
I love that the source compares building this MP3 to, like, ordering a custom drink at a local cafe. You know, like ordering a tesham, a mix of tea and coffee.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
You might want half coffee, half tea with, I don't know, a very specific amount of ice. You aren't rigidly copying someone else's order. You're mixing the specific daily rescue and joy tools that actually fit into your own chaotic schedule.
And that customization is what makes it an adaptable survival kit, rather than just, you know, another chore you have to succeed at.
But, and this is a big, but creating this perfect customized routine introduces a new problem. Because I've noticed that once I lock in a good habit, it eventually just becomes another thing I do on autopilot.
Right, it gets stale.
Yeah. And the source says the antidote to this habituation is adopting a beginner's mind. But I've got to say, I really struggle with that concept.
How so?
Well, when I'm in the middle of a high-stakes, chaotic situation, I rely entirely on my autopilot and my professional expertise just to survive. Isn't going back to basics and, like, acting like a beginner kind of dangerous when you're under pressure?
Well, that is a super common misconception.
Yeah.
Having a beginner's mind doesn't mean discarding your hard-earned expertise at all. It just means preventing that expertise from becoming a rigid, unthinking reflex. Because when you rely solely on autopilot, you stop noticing new information. You risk emotional flattening and burnout.
That makes sense.
So approaching your MP3 with a beginner's mind just keeps your brain actively engaged in the present moment. And to prevent that robotic feeling, the text provides the 3M framework.
The 3Ms. So modify, mix, and match. Meaning, instead of just abandoning your tools when they get boring, you tweak them.
Precisely. So first, you modify the technique. Like, if mindful breathing feels stale, maybe focus on the sound of the breath instead of the physical sensation.
Oh, I see.
Second, you mix different tools. If you commute, combine mindful walking with mindful photography. Like, actively look for one beautiful thing to capture on your way home.
I really like that one. And the third is match, right?
Ah,
Match the practice to the moment.
exactly.
Because trying to force a gentle joy tool when you are in a full-blown crisis and desperately need a rescue tool that's just going to backfire. You have to match the tool to the temperature of the room.
Because mindfulness isn't the state of permanent static calm. It is a dynamic, adaptable toolkit designed for the messy, unpredictable reality we actually live in.
Let's think back to that nurse at 3:15 a.m. With an MP3, she doesn't have to carry the ward home with her. She can deploy a rescue tool to stop those mental alarms before even leaving the parking lot,
Right.
and then use a joy tool like a quick what went well search while driving. That completely shifts her nervous system before she even walks through her front door.
Which brings us to a question for you to consider today.
Let's hear it.
If you were to build your own mindfulness MP3 today, what specific joy tool could you add to your playlist right now to completely change the tone of your afternoon?